You've spent 8 years saving a failing company, turning it into a $50 million empire. Then, your boss smirks and says your son-in-law's taking over. No warning, no gratitude, just a handshake and a severance package. That's exactly what happened to Jordan Hayes. But what they didn't know, Jordan had a plan, and it would bring their family legacy crashing down. Stick around for a revenge story so satisfying, it'll leave you speechless. If you've ever been disrespected, underestimated, or pushed out by someone who thought they could do better, this one's for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of this jaw-dropping Reddit revenge tale. Trust me, you're gonna want to hear how this unfolds. Jordan Hayes stood in the sleek conference room of Hologate Systems, his hands clasped tightly behind his back. At 52, he wasn't just an employee, he was the architect of this company's survival. 8 years ago, Hologate was a sinking ship, bleeding money and losing contracts. Jordan had swooped in like a lifeline, dragging it from the brink of bankruptcy to a $50 million powerhouse. His proprietary software, his patented techniques, his vision, they were the gears that made this machine hum. But now, Vincent, the silver-haired owner with a smile that didn't reach his eyes, leaned back in his leather chair. "My boy deserves to run the show now," he said, his voice as casual as if he were discussing the weather. Next to him sat Marcus, Jordan's son-in-law, nodding eagerly. Marcus, with his pressed suit and 3 years of experience, thought he was ready to inherit an empire. Jordan's empire. The sting of betrayal hit Jordan like a punch to the gut. His chest tightened as he stared at Vincent, whose smug grin screamed, "You're replaceable." Marcus, oblivious, probably pictured himself behind the big desk already. Jordan's mind raced. 8 years, thousands of hours, my systems, my patents, my sweat. And now, they were tossing him aside for family legacy. Let's rewind. 8 years ago, Vincent was desperate. Hologate Systems, a family-run construction business in Phoenix, was crumbling under old-school methods. Workers used outdated techniques, schedules were a mess, and costs spiraled out of control. Vincent called Jordan, a man who just sold his own company, begging for help. Jordan saw a challenge and took it. He didn't just stabilize Hologate, he revolutionized it. His custom project management software was a game changer, weaving together weather data, traffic patterns, and subcontractor schedules to create timelines that seemed impossible. His patented construction techniques slashed costs and time without sacrificing quality. Under Jordan's leadership, revenue skyrocketed from $12 million to $50 million. Safety ratings soared, clients raved, and competitors scrambled to keep up. But Vincent, he didn't get it. To him, success was about handshakes, family ties, and traditional values. He'd nod politely when Jordan explained algorithms or engineering breakthroughs, but his eyes glazed over. Marcus was cut from the same cloth. A good kid, sure, but he thought construction was about charming suppliers, not mastering systems. The warning signs had been there. Vincent started slipping Marcus into leadership talks, calling him the future. Family dinners turned into strategy sessions where Jordan felt like an outsider. His own daughter, Kelly, defended Marcus when Jordan questioned his readiness. He's family, Dad, give him a chance. Then came the client meetings. Vincent would wax poetic about Hologate's heritage, downplaying Jordan's innovations as minor tweaks. Industry articles featured Vincent and Marcus front and center, with Jordan relegated to senior advisor. It was like watching someone else take credit for your life's work. The day of Vincent's announcement, Jordan stood by the conference room window, staring at a construction site across the street. Workers moved slowly, using methods Jordan had replaced years ago. Marcus followed his gaze, probably thinking Jordan admired the craftsmanship. He doesn't see it, Jordan thought, his jaw tight. He doesn't see the inefficiency, the waste, the millions we saved. Vincent's words echoed in his mind. We'll make sure you're taken care of. Jordan. Generous severance package. Generous. After 8 years of carrying this company on his back, Jordan forced a smile, shook their hands, and walked out. But inside, something shifted. A quiet resolve hardened in his chest. They think they can just take it all? They're about to learn how wrong they are. The next morning, Jordan sat in his truck, the engine idling outside Hollowgate's office. The parking lot buzzed with workers following his optimized schedules, loading materials his software had ordered. This is my clockwork, he thought, and they're about to break the clock. Inside, Marcus was already at Jordan's desk, scrolling through project files like a kid playing with a new toy. Dad thought I should start familiarizing myself, Marcus said, not even looking up. Jordan's stomach churned. He's touching my life's work. When Marcus asked to develop the software, Jordan kept it vague. Custom development. Took a while. Marcus nodded absently, clueless about the thousands of hours behind those clean, simple screens. That's when it hit Jordan. Vincent and Marcus didn't just underestimate him. They misunderstood the company itself. They thought success came from charm and tradition, not the invisible infrastructure Jordan had built. The software, the patents, the systems, they weren't just tools. They were the foundation, and Jordan owned them. He called his patent attorney that night. The licensing agreements from 8 years ago were airtight. The software and construction techniques were Jordan's intellectual property, licensed to Hollowgate under one condition: his active operational involvement. If that ended, the licenses terminated. Vincent had never bothered to read the fine print. Marcus didn't even know it existed. Over the next 3 weeks, Jordan played the part of the cooperative partner. He proposed a transition plan, attended meetings, and smiled as Marcus shadowed him. But quietly, he was documenting everything, every patent, every algorithm, every contract tied to his systems. Vincent thought he was planning a smooth handoff. He had no idea Jordan was building a legal fortress. The turning point came during a meeting with Vincent. Jordan slid a folder across the table, filled with patent documents and licensing terms. Vincent's smug grin faded as he read. Marcus, confused, stammered, "You're saying you own our systems?" "I own the intellectual property that makes this company work," Jordan said, his voice steady but sharp. "The software, the methods, they're mine. And the licenses end when I do." Vincent's face turned red. "This is ridiculous. You can't hold the company hostage." "I'm not," Jordan replied, his eyes cold. "I'm enforcing the agreements you signed." The room went silent. Marcus stared at the table, realizing his big promotion was a house of cards. Vincent flipped through the documents, his confidence crumbling like old concrete. They'd assumed everything belonged to Hollowgate. They were wrong. Jordan spent the weekend activating what he called the extraction protocol. His software was tied to cloud servers he controlled. With a few commands, he could disable critical functions. Technical documentation, encrypted. Training materials, locked behind authorization codes. By Monday, the system still looked normal to Marcus, but the engine was rigged to shut down the moment Jordan walked away. Tuesday's company meeting was Vincent's big moment. He'd invited clients and subcontractors to announce Marcus as the new leader, preaching about family legacy and tradition. Marcus beamed, promising stronger relationships. Clients asked about maintaining efficiency. Marcus deflected with vague talk of excellence. Jordan sat quietly, his resignation letter burning a hole in his pocket. After the meeting, Jordan handed Vincent his resignation. Attached were the licensing termination details and a polite suggestion to hire legal counsel. Vincent's face contorted with rage. "You can't sabotage us just because you're unhappy," he shouted. "I'm not sabotaging," Jordan said, his voice calm but unyielding. "I'm protecting what's mine." By Thursday, Hollowgate was in chaos. The software spat out error messages. Schedules collapsed. Material deliveries arrived late. Marcus, desperate, called Jordan. "I don't understand this technical stuff. Just show me how to fix it." Jordan's response was ice cold. "The systems require months of training. The licenses are gone." Vincent tried bargaining money, a partnership, anything. Jordan didn't budge. "I'm starting my own firm," he said. Jordan Hayes Construction Solutions. "We'll be using my systems to deliver results." Vincent's silence was deafening. He gambled his company on family loyalty and lost everything to the fine print he'd ignore. Jordan's story isn't just about revenge, it's about justice. He built an empire, only to watch it handed to someone who didn't understand it. But by protecting what was his, he reclaimed his power. Sometimes, karma doesn't burn bridges. It just lets them crumble under the weight of arrogance. Did Jordan's payback give you chills? Smash that like button and drop a comment. What's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? If you loved this story, subscribe and hit the bell for more epic Reddit tales every week. Let's keep the justice rolling. See you in the next one.